Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. And this is Saturday on our channel and we've got some stuff to talk about. We've got to talk about the brand new Carrie remake. That's right, Carrie from Stephen King is getting yet another remake. And that's not all. So let's jump right into it. Alright everybody, so we have to talk about Stephen King. More specifically about Stephen King's Carrie novel, which is getting yet another screen adaptation, this time to the small screen. But this is far from the very first time that Carrie has been adapted into live action, because it is one of Stephen King's most adapted books, if not the most adapted book by Stephen King. It had first come to the screen in 1976 with Stacy Spacek in the lead role. And in 2002, we got another adaptation of it with Angela Bettis. Then in 2013, Chloe Grace Moretz took the role for herself in another adaptation of the movie. That is not even counting the fact that Carrie the Rage, or Carrie 2, was a thing in 1999 with Emily Burgle playing the part of Carrie's daughter, who was now grown up and displaying powers of her own. So with all of these things having to do with Carrie in the past, a lot of people feel that Carrie doesn't need to be adapted again. But this is actually very exciting news, because this is going to be a mini-series, much in the vein that we have seen in more recent years with some of the Stephen King adaptations. Not to mention, it has a person at the head of this project that has been known to adapt his works before and do it quite well. And that is none other than Mike Flanagan, who will adapt this version of Carrie for TV. Now, Deadline reports that the filmmaker, who has spent the last couple years seeing success with the likes of The Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, and Fall of the House of the Usher for Netflix, is now taking an aim at Prime Video and has set up a TV version of Stephen King's Carrie. Stephen King's 1974 novel is actually one of his first. It's what made him a household name. So it was no surprise that this was going to get adapted into a movie. And it's actually no surprise to me at all that this would be adapted into several movies to kind of keep it relevant, because it does deal with bullying and things that are still relevant today. Carrie is one of those novels that's scary, because up until the part where her powers start to become evident, a lot of what she goes through, a lot of people can relate to it. A lot of people have been bullied and talked down to and made fun of in their life. So the movie, very much like the book, does sort of take that to heart. And you really do feel sympathetic for Carrie in every one of these movies. That's part of what made Carrie the Rage 2 not work. That one didn't work quite as well, because it sort of did take away from what you were used to. It had Carrie's daughter, and a lot of times I didn't find her as likable as Carrie was in the movies. Carrie did sort of play as the person you could feel sorry for, the person that you did have empathy for because of all the things she was going through. Whereas a lot of the situations in Carrie the Rage did not work. So it really didn't feel as comfortable, and I think that's why the series didn't go forward, if it ever was supposed to go forward after that. It just wasn't going to work out. Stephen King, being one of the most adapted authors of all time, has had his work taken to the screen multiple times, and Carrie isn't the only one we have to look forward to, because we also have Edgar Wright adapting The Running Man for a second time to the screen. And then we have Francis Lawrence, who has shot The Long Walk. And we have Osgood Perkins, who will be bringing us The Monkey next year. Stephen King is getting adapted a lot this upcoming year. So in 2025, we're going to be seeing a lot of different Stephen King novels coming to life. Apparently, little short stories of his mainly. But Carrie being adapted actually does excite me because I think about what they could do for a TV show here. I think that they could really make this something cool. If they're doing it like a little mini-series TV show, this could work very well. If they're taking this and adapting this into a more major TV show, of course that isn't going to work. You can only do so much with the novel. The novel is only 200 something pages, if that, and it doesn't really lend itself to a longer episodic thing. It's really exciting because they could make it very much like the book. There's so much of the book that has been left out of all the other adaptations of the movie. And I think that something like this has the potential to add a lot of that stuff back in. Context that was missing. Some of the things that the other characters were saying when they were being questioned about who Carrie is, because that's kind of the thing here. They are being questioned about how Carrie's whole night for prom night went and the things leading up to it. And it's very interesting because when you think about them being questioned after the fact, after everything went down, how did they feel about Carrie at the time? And it kind of leads to a situation where you could see multiple scenarios play out, where you might be able to, if they choose, see something from Carrie's perspective, but you could also see it from the perspective of several other characters. So if they took 2 or 3 of these characters and kind of had them playing it out throughout the movie, Carrie could become, in fact, a secondary character, making her maybe less sympathetic or more sympathetic, depending upon who it was that was telling the story. So I find this very interesting because doing it this way would make it easier for them to follow the book a lot more. We could get perhaps the truest adaptation of Carrie that has ever been filmed. And I'm 1000% down for that. But the real question is who plays Carrie, because at the end of the day, not just anybody can play Carrie. Part of the reason that the casting of Sissy Spacek worked so well in the original is that she very much embodied what people were picturing as Carrie. She made that part her own and made you feel sympathetic towards her. When you got to Angela Bettis, I feel, was good in the role, but really didn't lead you to feel as sympathetic. And then, of course, like I said, you had that remake with Chloe Grace Moretz. And Chloe Grace Moretz didn't really do it justice either. And she is an amazing actress. Chloe Grace Moretz could only be as good as the movie allowed. And then you have the fact that Carrie the Rage happened with Emily Bergel. I didn't think she was sympathetic at all. So you have this entire scenario where you have the chance to make Carrie sympathetic. And that is something to be excited for. I am down to see what they do with this series. I think it's going to be absolutely great. Now, if they get the right people and they tell the story in the truest possible fashion, this could be amazing. The book is great. The book is great, and I really did enjoy all of the movies. I even enjoyed Carrie the Rage. I enjoyed every adaptation of Carrie that we've had so far, even if I didn't like them as much as I liked the original movie with Sissy Spacek. I feel like the movie with Sissy Spacek was the definitive one. And going into a series like this, they're going to have to convince me that they can do better than that. And that's going to be the real challenge here. Because while I will probably like it, because it's a Stephen King adaptation and the guy at the helm is actually someone I trust in doing these adaptations of Stephen King's work, they've still got to sell me on the fact that this is Carrie. And they've got to sell me on the fact that this is the definitive Carrie. And that's going to be a challenge, but it is one that I think they are up to. And I am very much looking forward to seeing what they do, how they do it, and what happens next. And these other adaptations are exciting too. Some of these other adaptations that we're getting are super exciting. Because to think that The Running Man is going to be adapted again, I remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and that is not really like the short story. It's not like the short story. It has some things it shares with them, but it became very much its own movie and had its own thing going on. And to have somebody else put their perspective on it means we could get that to be very much like the book as well. And then you have The Long Walk. And The Long Walk is another story that would be very interesting to see adapted to the screen. It's not one that's been adapted before, so it's one that I'm going to look very forward to seeing how they adapt it and how true to the story they are. And then The Monkey. With Osgood Perkins behind it, this movie looks to be really cool. And The Monkey is a great story too. It is one of those stories that just is so different and so out there that I can't wait to see them bring this to the screen and see how they can do this and make it work. The Monkey itself was a short story originally published as a booklet in Gallery magazine in 1980. And the story is very interesting. So that one I am super excited for, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. But that is where I am going to leave it off to you guys. Are you excited about Carrie getting a remake as a TV series? Do you think that this has potential? Do you think that it's going to be a bad idea? Do you think that it's going to live up to all of the hype of the original Stephen King novel? And what do you think about these other projects? Are you excited for The Running Man? Are you excited for The Long Walk? Are you excited for The Monkey? I want to know what you guys think about any of this. Which project excites you more? As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below. Also, don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this crazy conversation as well. And then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free. It helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. Then Miko says we need more subscribers. And look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.